Okay, Mr. Mayor, we are live and ready when you are.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Soldovia City Council, Monday, October 11th. We'll go ahead and do roll call. Rojas.
Here.
Peyton. Looks like she has not joined us yet. Nathan. Sweat.
Here.
Colberg.
Here.
And Morrison.
Yep.
Okay, we do have a quorum tonight. Everyone will join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Excuse absences. We have none unless, let's see, Peyton can't join us. She's having some internet problems. Agenda approval.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda by Rojas, second by Colberg. All those in favor, Rojas,
Aye.
Peyton, Nathan,
Aye.
Sweat,
Aye.
Colberg,
Aye.
Morrison.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. The agenda is approved. Tonight's consent agenda, item E. All items under the consent agenda are approved with a single motion, no discussion, and one vote. The council member may request to remove any item for discussion and a separate vote. We have tonight, item 1, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting for September 27th, 2021. Since there's only one item on the agenda, we'll just go ahead and look for a motion to approve tonight's agenda unless there's any further discussion on it.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda by Sweat, second by Rojas. All those in favor, Rojas,
Aye.
Nathan,
Aye.
Sweat,
Aye.
Colberg,
Aye.
Morrison.
Aye.
Okay, consent agenda is approved tonight. Item F, mayoral proclamations. We do have 2 tonight. Proclamation 22-03, honoring Dr. Larry Reynolds for providing over 40 years of service to Soldovia and for serving as the medical director for Soldovia EMS. And I see Dr. Larry is here tonight, and I'll go ahead and read the proclamation. Whereas Dr. Larry Reynolds has graciously served the community and its citizens as our doctor for nearly 40 years, and whereas Dr. Reynolds also served as the medical director for Soldovia EMS as a volunteer, and whereas having a medical director in Soldovia is invaluable to the local emergency medical service as they provide medical oversight, review, feedback, and education for the other dedicated volunteers. And whereas the city recognizes the incredible dedication and devotion given to the community through the countless hours of time spent volunteering as the medical director, and whereas the city greatly appreciates all the efforts and commitment that Dr. Reynolds provided to the continued health, safety, and medical needs of the people of this community on a daily and nightly basis. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor of the city of Soldovia and its citizens recognize Dr. Larry Reynolds for his many years of dedication and devotion to the community of Soldovia as a volunteer medical director and an upstanding community physician. Story about volunteering.
74, when I came here, there was no EMS in the state. So we was working on it. I think we got it somewhere around 78. But at first, if you had a heart attack, you got put in a Stokes litter, covered over like you were dead, and put in the back of a pickup to get to the airport. Since the EMS was volunteer, and I could see they were going to really help me a lot. I volunteered too.
Perfect, perfect. We appreciate all your efforts for many years of service.
Well, thanks for the honor.
Thank you.
And can you hold up your proclamation, Doctor? Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Looking good. Gotcha.
All right, tonight's second proclamation, 22-04, honoring Dr. William Bill Cooper for 5 years of service as the medical director for Soldovia Emergency Medical Service. And I'll go ahead and read Dr. Cooper's proclamation. Whereas Dr. Cooper stepped up and filled the role of medical director for the Soldovia EMS after the retirement of Soldovia's longstanding medical director, Dr. Reynolds, in 2016. And whereas the medical director provides valuable medical oversight, review, feedback, and education for the other dedicated EMS volunteers. And whereas having a medical director allows Soldovia EMS to provide medical service at a more advanced level than would otherwise be possible. And whereas the city recognizes that Dr. Cooper graciously volunteered his time and resources to the Soldovia EMS these past 5 years. And whereas the city has been honored to have Dr. Cooper as their medical director. And whereas the city greatly appreciates all his efforts and commitment to this community and others as a terrific educator and advocate for EMS in Alaska, which has been especially invaluable for small emergency services like Soldovia. Now, therefore, be resolved that the mayor of the city of Soldovia and its citizens recognize Dr. Bill Cooper for his years of service and dedication as a volunteer medical director for the community of Soldovia. I see he's joined us online there.
I've had a wonderful time being your medical director. That is the most wonderful harbor in Alaska, and I've been to a lot of them.
Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Cooper. We appreciate your years of service, and our residents and community thanks you. Much appreciation.
Thank you. Thank you very much again.
And we will get your plaque out to you since you're not here in person tonight. So thank you again.
All right. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, that'll conclude tonight's mayoral proclamations. We'll move to item G, public presentation prior notice. I don't think we have anybody signed up tonight, Heidi.
Tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, item H, public presentation for items not on the agenda. Do we have any hands up?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a Miss Laurel Hiltz.
Okay,
Hi, Mr. Mayor, if you can hear me okay?
yep, loud and clear, Laurel.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Just a few things going on in the month of October as we're heading into the first of the holiday season. So Halloween coming up later at the end of the month. And Seldovia Village Tribe is going to be hosting a community Halloween carnival at our Alaska Tribal Cache building. And that'll take place on Friday evening, the 29th. And then there in town will be the trick-or-treating on the 31st, including the trunk or treat in front of Main Street Market. And the Soldovia Bible Chapel will have a harvest party as well for the kids that evening. So lots of fun ahead. And I'm sure there's a haunted house or two planned along the boardwalk and thereabouts. So looking forward for a good time. And at the chamber meeting, a lot of the businesses along Main Street mentioned that they also will be having their lights on and having treats for the kids and maybe some fires and some warm things to drink. So looking forward to that for everybody. And really glad that we're able to celebrate in that way and get out and about. Wanted to make a mention just in regards to the ongoing journey with COVID and how things have been going here on the Kenai Peninsula in particular. So I'm just pulling up my statistics real quick, if you don't mind, but just wanted to give an update here in October of 2021, close to 2022, in fact. But just looking at the COVID rates for the Kenai Peninsula, it seems that we're looking at numbers that are starting to trend downward, in fact, statewide, and overall numbers that seem to be pretty optimistic, I think, in regard to COVID. And so knowing that right now, the percentage of COVID positive residents that have recovered here on the Southern Kenai Peninsula in the area of 15,000 people, we have 99.39% recovery. And so that's pretty fantastic numbers. Of course, nobody likes to see our friends, family members get sick or pass away. And so even with that, those statistics are very, very low. And so we want folks to understand that and feel that we're doing a good job. And in fact, as I look at SVT Health and Wellness in our 3 health centers from Acre Point, Homer, and Soldovia, that we've had no positives tested since September 30th. So that's really great news. And so I just want to say, keep up the good work for everybody. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Laurel. Appreciate the information. Anyone else? Heidi with their hands up?
I'm not seeing any more hands at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, anyone from the audience tonight?
From, I think it's 10 to noon or something. I'm sorry, there's a poster up at the post office. But I just happened to read it, that they are allowing people to either call ahead or walk in and giving flu shots for the season. And there is a comment online about you do not need to be a member of SVT to qualify
To
for
come
the
in and get
shot.
the flu shot?
Yeah,
Okay,
we're thinking it's not the high dose for seniors, just the regular dose at this point. Yeah. But just a note for the community.
okay, thank you. Okay. Let's see, it looks like item I tonight, Committee and Advisory Board reports. There's a report in the packet from Walt Sonnen, and I'm not sure if Walt's joining us online or if it's just going to be written tonight. Okay, and that is found on page 7 of the packet tonight on the irregular packet. Hearings, Resolution 22-13, Certificate of Results of Election on October 5th, 2021. This will be on page 9 of your packet, and then we'll go ahead and let Heidi take this one away.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I apologize. The first draft does not include the proposition. So if you guys look in your packet or your laydown, pages 9 and 10 is an updated draft of Resolution 2213 that includes both seats or all 3 seats and that proposition. So that will be what we'll be using tonight as long as council approves. And I have with me our 3 canvassing judges. And I would like to report that I have opened the envelope from the election board, who is here with us tonight, as Mr. Greg Woofer, the chair, Catherine Giles, and Cindy Mom. And I've determined the validity of all the question and absentee ballots. I have those with me. We have 25 sealed. They're sealed from the time they were counted, so we will proceed with opening them. And I will read off the results after opening those, and our judges will tally them to make sure that we have a consensus to share with the council in order to certify the elections. If you give me just a minute. I'll get these out to our judges. And we're gonna turn this on so everybody can hear you guys if there is a tally. After every 5 for a person, they'll say tally, and you'll know that they have 5. They do it 4 marks and then a cross, so that their count is hopefully consistent. So with that, we will proceed when you guys are ready. Okay. Okay, to start, we have 1 for Maggie Langbart, 1 for Jennifer Swick. For the next seat, we have 1 for Harmony Payton. And for Prop 1, we have 1, or I'm sorry, yes.
Heidi, our sheet does not have the proposition on it.
Oh, can you write that in,
How
please?
Do you want us to write
Mhm.
yes and then no as the second one? I
Yes,
think that's how it was.
yeah.
What was that?
Prop 1, yes. Okay, for the first seat, we have 1 for Jennifer Spick. For the 2-year term, we have 1 for Harmony Payton. And for Proposition 1 is a no. Okay. We have 1 for John Kennedy. We have 1 for Jennifer Swick. For the next seat, we have 1 for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a no. One for John Kennedy, 1 for Jennifer Swick, 1 on the next seat for Harmony Payton, and for the Prop 1 is a no. One for John Kennedy, 1 for Jennifer Swick.
Tally.
For the next seat, 1 for Harmony Payton,
Tally.
and Prop 1 is a no. One for Jennifer Swick, 1 for John Colbert. For the next seat, 1 for Harmony Payton, and Prop 1 is a yes. One for Jennifer Swick, 1 for John Colbert. For the next seat, 1 for Harmony Payton, and a yes for Prop 1. One for John Kennedy, 1 for Jennifer Swick, 1 for Harmony Payton for the next seat, and Proposition 1 is a no.
Tally.
one for Maggie Langbart, one for John Colberg. For the next seat, one for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a yes. One for Jennifer Swick, one for John Colbert, one for Harmony Payton for the next seat. And for Proposition 1, it's a yes.
Tally.
One for John Kennedy, one for Jennifer Swick. For the next seat, one for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a no. One for John Kennedy, one for Jennifer Swick. For the next seat, one for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a no. One for John Kennedy, one for Jennifer Swick. For the next seat, one for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a no. One for Maggie Langbart, one for Jennifer Swick. For the next seat, one for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a yes. One for Maggie Langbart, one for Jennifer Swick. For the next seat, one for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a yes. One for Maggie Langbart, one for Jennifer Swick. For the next seat, one for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a yes. One for Maggie Langbart, one for Jennifer Swick. For the next seat, one for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a yes. One for Jennifer Swick, one for John Colberg. For the next seat, one for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a yes. One for Jennifer Swick, one for John Colberg. For the next seat, one for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a yes. One for Jennifer Swick, one for John Colberg. The next seat, one for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a yes. one for Maggie Langbart, one for Jennifer Swick,
Tally.
Tally.
for Harmony Payton, one for the next seat. And Proposition 1 is a yes. One for John Kennedy, one for Jennifer Swick. For the next seat, one for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a yes. One for John Kennedy, one for Jennifer Swick. From the next seat, one for Harmony Payton. And Proposition 1 is a no. One for Jennifer Swick. One for John Colberg. For the next seat, one for Harmony Payton, and Soldovia proposition is yes.
Tally.
Tally.
Okay, last one, you guys. One for Jennifer Swick. For the next seat, one for Harmony Payton,
Tally.
Tally.
and Soldovia proposition number 1 is a yes. And if you guys could add those totals with the totals previously, and for proposition 1, it should be 33 yes and 36 no. When you've confirmed that, we'll have our chair, Greg Wolfer, read off the results. Mr. Wolfer, if you could please read the results for each member and then the proposition.
Okay, for the first one, Maggie Laggert, 31 votes. John J. Kennedy has 43 votes. Jennifer Swick has 80 votes. And John Colberg has 19. And Harmony Payton has a total of 85 votes.
Write-in, Alan Swick, 1. John Kennedy, 1. Jennifer Swick, 1. Proposition is 49 for yes and 45 for no.
Thank you. If you guys could please sign each other's sheets and attest the certificate of results. Your results, council.
Heidi, this is Vivian. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay, I can hear you, Vivian. Can you hear us?
Yeah, we just lost you for a while. Okay, thank you.
Yes, our internet crashed. I'm sorry. I think what you missed is Mr. Nathan asked for the count or the tally of the Prop 1. So I don't know if you guys heard that, but just to reiterate that Prop 1 had 49 yes and 45 no. And we'll have the judges have signed off on their results. And if council approves the certification of election results, then we'll have council sign off on that as well as soon as they're able. I know you are out and John is out, but when you guys come back to town, hopefully you guys can come and sign.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any additional questions, comments from council?
Mr. Mayor.
Yep, go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who voted.
Okay, anyone else?
Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor, if I-
Yeah, go ahead, Vivian.
Yeah, a big thank you to our election board for their hard work. And again, thank you to all those who voted. Thank you very much.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'd say thank you to all the voters and election board. I think this is probably our best election ever. We've had 5 people running at the same time, so I'm glad the 2 won. Congrats to them, and I'll see you when I get back.
All right, thank you, John. Appreciate that. Okay, anyone else? Questions, comments?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just one more
Yep, go ahead,
comment.
Bobby.
Yes, I forgot to thank the election officials for doing what they do all day long. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the public. If anyone from the public has any questions or additional comments regarding the election.
I'm not seeing any hands raised at this time, Mr. Mayor. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. We do have one, Miss Crystal Collier.
I just want to say thank you, John Colberg, for your years of serving on the city council. I'm not sure how many years that you were there, but thank you for your service. I know it's a difficult job at best. And I'm happy to see the new fresh blood get on the council, but I'm not happy to see the election results for Proposition 1. I think that's a big detriment to this community. I think anytime you raise taxes on the general public, that you will see probably something negative come from that, which will be unfortunate. People will find a way to purchase from a different location or spend more time in Anchorage buying. The tourists will not like it. I think that that's a very unfortunate thing that the city has elected to do, and the public has supported it. So I don't live in the community. I live in the village, but I do pay those taxes. So I'm sorry to see them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Crystal. Anyone else, Heidi, from the public?
I'm not seeing any more hands raised at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and bring it back to council, and real quick, I'll just offer my sentiments as well to our officials. Thank you guys for all your support and dedication. Obviously, it takes volunteers from the community to make that all happen. So, and keep track of everything. So we appreciate it. And also thank you to all the voters that turned out for this election. Appreciate that as well. It's always good to see good turnout. So any other closing comments, questions before we look for a motion to certify? Heidi, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. I meant to include earlier, but since somebody brought up what a turnout for elections we had, I did want to say that it was a 44% turnout. So we had 94 voters out of 214 registered voters, just to let everybody know it was an election standards. That's pretty decent.
Good. Thank you for those remarks and stats. Okay, any other questions, comments from anyone's?
Mr. Mayor?
Yep, go ahead, John.
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you, Crystal. I'm for the tax increase. The vast majority of stuff bought for Seldovia is bought out of Homer or on Amazon. And Homer's tax is 7% year round. So it's irrelevant about it, price going up 2%. So, but I am in support of it. And but I do thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you, John. Okay, we'll look for a motion to certify tonight's results then.
I'll make a motion to certify tonight's resolution 22-13 certification of the election results.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion to certify tonight's election results for resolution 22-13 by Rojas, second by Sweat. Any further discussion before we vote? Okay, all those in favor of resolution 22-13 to certify tonight's election? Oh, is she up? Okay, she has joined us. Yep, Harmony, if you can hear us, go ahead.
Oh, I think I need to be, promoted so that I can vote with you guys.
I think we good to go with. Okay, yep, you're good to go, Harmony.
Copy that. I just need to be promoted so I can vote and things. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, but you're good. So I'll call the roll call here in just a minute. Okay, so we've got the motion, we've got the second, and we'll go, so I had asked for if there's any additional discussion. If there's no additional discussion, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor, Rojas?
Aye.
Peyton?
Aye.
Nathan?
Aye.
Sweat?
Aye.
Colberg?
Aye.
Morrison?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Resolution 22-13 is certified for this year's election results. So appreciate everyone's support again, and thank you to our canvassing board. So. All right. Another successful election. Thank you, Greg. Okay, that will take us to item K2, ordinance 22-05, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Soldovia, Alaska, amending Soldovia Municipal Code 2.08.050, duties and powers, and this will be on page 10 of your packet. And Heidi, you can go ahead and take it away.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As said, this is page 10 of the regular packet. And there is a memorandum that follows starting on page 12. This came about after the June or during the June 14th, 2021 regular city council meeting when there was some confusion trying to interpret the Seldovia Municipal Code language for the mayoral's duties and powers. Compared to Alaska statute, there's just some slight language differences. So in this memorandum, it lists out, and actually I apologize, not in the memorandum, but on page 14, you'll see Alaska statute that lists out the language for the veto. And we also included Homer's because Homer's had a extra sentence that says that a veto that is not signed or that fails to include a written explanation of the reasons for the veto is ineffective, which is not in Alaska statute, but it just more clearly clarifies that process. And so with that, it'll read as, except as provided in the section, the mayor veto, or the mayor may veto an ordinance, resolution, motion, or other action of the city council and may strike or reduce appropriation items except when prohibited by law. A veto must be exercised before the next regular meeting of the city council. A veto must be signed by the mayor and be accompanied by a written explanation for the reasons of the veto. A veto that is not signed or fails to include a written explanation of the reasons for the veto is ineffective. A veto may be overridden by the 2/3 of the authorized membership of the city council within 21 days following exercise of the veto or at the next regular meeting, whichever is later. And so just to clarify, like in that last process, there was a little bit of a confusion. The veto can come anytime before the next regular meeting. So it could come that evening following a city council meeting, the next morning, anytime when that veto comes with the written explanation, that's the exercise of the veto. So from that time that that veto is received by the city office from the mayor, then the council has 21 days or till their next regular meeting. There is another set of contingencies that Homer included, and I did highlight that just in case the city council was interested in including that as well. And that is that the city council shall first consider a veto override at the first regular or special council meeting, not including work sessions that occurs following the veto. But the city council may postpone taking action from time to time until the expiration of the time for the override specified in the preceding sentence. So I don't know if that's something you guys want to include to just more specify the time for the potential of an override. But really the hope with this ordinance is just so that the city more clearly aligns with state statutes and that exercise can happen anytime before the next meeting, should accompany or will be accompanied by a written statement, and then the 21 days starts from when it is exercised. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Heidi. All right, we'll go ahead and take it to council for any questions or comments from the council.
Mr. Mayor,
Yep, go ahead, George.
I think this is just boilerplate that I would support this.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I
Anyone
may.
else for comments? Yep, go ahead, Vivian.
Yeah, I'm in full support of clarifying what we had before. So thank you very much for putting this together.
Thank you, Vivian.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
Yep, go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, I think I understand it and I'm in support of it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move to the public. Any comments on ordinance 22-05 regarding the veto section of our code?
I'm not seeing any hands raised at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll go ahead and bring it back to council for final action. I'll go ahead and just offer a quick comment. I too support this. I know we had some confusion at the one and only time that I've used the veto powers of the mayor. And yeah, it was a little confusing and also caused a little contention. So I appreciate you guys looking into this a bit further and cleaning up the language. And I think that'll help if and when the veto is ever used again. So just a note, it seems to be used rather frequently in the city of Anchorage here, especially as of late. So, okay, any other questions, comments from council? Okay, Bobby?
No.
Okay. So you activated your mic. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and look for a motion on this then.
I make a motion to accept ordinance 22-05.
Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve ordinance 22-05 by Sweat. We have a second by Nathan. If there's no further discussion, we'll go ahead and vote on 22-05. Rojas,
Aye.
Peyton,
Aye.
Nathan,
Aye.
Sweat,
Aye.
Colberg,
Aye.
Morrison.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 6-0. Thank you, everyone. We'll move on to item K3, resolution 22-14, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Soldovia, Alaska, accepting Alaska Highway Safety Office grant agreement for the City of Soldovia Traffic Records Improvement Project in the amount of $5,206.47. And this will be found on page 16 of your packet, and we'll go ahead and have staff take it away.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a great asset that our community is acquiring through the Alaska Highway Safety Office grant agreement. It'll give us access to a laptop that is equipped with 2 software systems that troopers as well as other law enforcement agencies across the state use. Currently, our system is a little bit archaic at the City of Seldovia, and that we're still doing citations and other filings by handwritten paper or email paper. So this will allow our chief of police to submit citations as well as other documents through a database. And so we're just having this resolution as a matter of formality to accept the grant agreement and the terms. And I just wanted to thank both our finance officer as well as our chief of police for working together so that the city could receive this grant. I know that it's something that the troopers have wanted to see Soldovia take on for quite some time. And so it's definitely a success to celebrate. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate that. All right, we'll go ahead and open it up to council for comments or questions regarding resolution 22-14.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
So am I looking at this right, Rachel? It's the projected cost is like $8,100. The grant's 52, so we still have to put in $3,000.
Through the mayor, council member Sweat, there is a match. So you'll see on page 20 of your packet, it says sub grantee match. So you're allowed to use not just actual expenditures, but what the city is also incurring in terms of costs. So we've used the chief of police's salary, also the finance officer's salary in order to be a part of the match of the grant. We're also using training that the troopers have told us in order that they would provide in order to match for the grant, as well as the software. And so the city isn't actually expending additional funds. We're just using expenses we're already incurring to show how we're matching the grant.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions, comments from council?
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yep, go ahead, Vivian.
Yeah, I think this is a great grant option. Question I have is there training that our police chief will be going to get in order to be able to know how to use these programs? And is that training going to be applicable for every following police chief we have in the future?
Through the mayor, Councilmember Rojas, that's a great question. So if you go to page, let's see, page 31 in your packet. It's the original letter that we received when the city was in the midst of negotiating the FY22 contract with the Department of Public Safety. And if you look at the fourth paragraph, it says, in addition, the no-cost offer of arms and tracks includes the maintenance, software licensing fees, and training to the Soldovia Police Department. So yes, I would say training is included and also extends throughout the department.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Rachel. Any additional questions? Okay, we'll go ahead and go to public comment on resolution 22-14. Heidi, do we have anyone that wishes to speak from the public tonight?
I'm not seeing any hands raised at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and bring it back to council for final adoption tonight, and I'll just offer a comment. I'm definitely in support of this. I think it's a good use of funds, and it also it's going to make our department a little more relevant. Hopefully, things will be streamlined for the chief and get us in line with the rest of the state. So this will be good, and I'm sure once the chief's trained up on this, it'll be fairly user friendly to use. So definitely in support, and I like to see that it's fairly flexible on the matching conditions of this. This is nice that we don't have to put out actual cash to match the funds by DPS. So that's good. I'm glad they allowed that to happen. So all right, any other final questions, comments before final action on 22-14? Okay, we'll go ahead and look for a motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, do we need to go to the public, or did I miss that? I'm sorry.
Yep, we already did.
Okay, great. Then I will put in a motion to accept resolution 22-14.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to accept resolution 22-14 by Rojas, second by Colberg. Any additional discussion? Okay, we'll go and vote on 22-14. All those in favor, Rojas,
Aye.
Peyton,
Aye.
Nathan,
Aye.
Sweat,
Aye.
Colberg,
Aye.
and Morrison.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 6-0. Okay, thank you, everyone. That'll take us to item L, unfinished business. None. Item M, new business. M1, discussion of the city of Soldovia's opportunity to apply for FFY 2021 Community Development Block Grant, overview of a City of Soldovia Capital Improvement Plan. This will be found on page 33 of your regular packet. And we'll go ahead and let the city manager take it away.
Thank you, Mayor. So the Community Development Block Grant is, I believe, an annual opportunity that's extended to municipalities to apply for. And I know that the city of Soldovia at one point tried to get a community block grant for this building in order to improve energy efficiency, to summarize it very generally. And I don't believe, we were not successful in getting that grant, but we have a new opportunity to reapply. And the deadline is December 3rd. And so I wanted to bring this opportunity before the council because it's October and it can take an extended time, as I'm sure the city clerk can attest to, in terms of compiling the information necessary to apply for this grant. And so it's just a general discussion of what projects the city could consider bringing, because we have access to, I believe, the maximum amount you can apply for is $800,000. So if you go to page 34 packet, it's the start of the Community Development Block Grant Handbook. And I've pulled out pages that discuss what eligible projects the city could consider for this grant. And so it falls, there's specific categories to community development. You could work on public facilities like construction, reconstruction, installation, water and sewer systems, daycare centers. You could do transportation improvements, access to public facilities and structures. So improving access for the handicapped and elderly persons. You could also do real property applications. So if we have acquire land where we need to clear a demolition, there's also fire protection facilities and equipment. So we could look at acquiring first responder capital assets. So that's just to give an idea of what community development projects would qualify for this funding. You can also use it for planning. So helping with data collection, analysis, marketing studies, capital improvement plans, community economic development plans, as well as special economic development. So you can look at commercial or industrial improvements, improving commercial or industrial buildings. So there's a lot of flexibility in what you can use the funds for. Now, there's also a lot of strings for, not strings, that's the wrong word, but there's a lot of projects that are ineligible. So you can't use it to purchase or require motor vehicles or equipment, personal property. You can't use it for government buildings like city halls, administrative buildings, or city offices. You also can't use it to support regular government operations, so paying for staff. And you also can't use it for maintenance and operation expenses of public or community facilities or political activities. So while it may seem like there's flexibility in terms of improving structures or acquiring property or doing new construction, there's limits to how that can benefit the city itself as an entity. And they're more so looking at how you're going to encourage community development for the city of Soldovia overall. And so when I was thinking through this for Soldovia, I came to the conclusion, and it's in a memo detailed on page 39, that the city doesn't have a strategic vision for how it wants to target capital improvements. And in our city code, it's actually a requirement for the city manager to not only prepare and submit, also supposed to submit a capital improvement program. And so I asked the city clerk to look through our files and see if we had one, and she was unable to find one. But a capital improvement program or plan, a CIP, is a instrumental planning document for your city. It not only holds accountable maintenance or major construction projects that a city needs to accomplish into institutional memory. So it's a plan that gets looked at every year. It also invites the community to come in and suggest capital projects or improvements they would like to see as well. And so it's a great two-way communicating document with the public as well as the city. And just kind of as a tangent on this topic, when I met with some constituents and they were asking me questions about why the city was looking to pursue a road grader, I asked, well, were you aware that the city had been asking for years for financial support from the state in order to acquire a road grader? And they said no. And so I feel like having a capital improvement plan, a CIP in place, is a very transparent, all-in-one package where someone could go to the city and say, wow, these are all of the projects that they need to accomplish, like fixing the water distribution system, fixing the sewer on Block Street, building a wastewater treatment facility that meets EPA standards. I mean, there's a lot of really big projects that our community needs to accomplish, but we don't have a strategic vision or one place where someone could go and look at all those projects that we have in store for our future. And so similar to what the city's looking to do for the land use management plan, having all of our properties in one place, this would be a great way to help the continual maintenance and improvement of city facilities and assets into the future. And so I bring this up because here we have this grant opportunity. What project does council want staff possibly to to apply or pursue this grant with? And what process do we have in place to help us decide which project do we go for over another? So there's a grant opportunity. We have much work we need to do. There are a lot of projects that would qualify. There are a lot of projects that wouldn't qualify. And what is the vision for council on pursuing grants like this in the future when we don't have a strategic plan put in place? So opening the discussion with that and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. We'll open it up to council for discussion.
Mr. Mayor,
Yep, go ahead, George.
are you contemplating spending grant money to develop this plan? Is that what you have in mind?
Through the mayor, Councilmember Nathan, that's a great question. The answer is no.
Oh,
I think that we can keep it simple enough. And we have enough institutional memory where we could at least start. And then if in the future, council selects or the community advocates for a particular project, then you could say, all right, let's target that. Let's hire an engineer to help us with these plans. Let's pursue this grant to help us develop and construct this. But I think for now, just having a very simple all-in-one document is where we're going to start.
Super. That sounds very good. And what's the drop dead time on this? How long do we have to figure out what we're going to do with this?
I think this is due December 3rd, isn't it?
December 3rd. Okay.
December 3rd, and they have training opportunities happening in a couple weeks. And by training, it's more like, here's the grant, here's the process, here's how you can be most successful at applying, here's some tips. So if I had a project in mind that the council was interested in, it'd make that training more fruitful. But it's something where we could maybe have a special meeting, especially with the new council members, but and thinking through how to pursue grant opportunities like this in the future, it'd be very helpful to have a more strategic vision for what are the top priorities that are time sensitive and critical and need to happen now, and go from there.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. I just have a question or a comment too. Yeah, I think is there a way to get, for this particular, the community block development grant, is there a way to get a list of previous recipients of the grant and what their projects were?
I'm sure there is, Mayor. That's a great point.
Well, and the reason I say that is because, so we basically have, there's 3.1, it's, I mean, I'm not knocking it. I mean, of course, any grant is good, but there's $3.1 million available through this program for the entire state. It seems like a fairly small pittance which means it's going to be extremely, extremely competitive. So I would think that, I mean, I know we're going to have our wish list, and we've already basically done some of the homework, right, through our goals, objectives, and priorities when we've talked about what our council wishes are with some of the other improvements around town. For this particular one, I would think that since it's going to be so competitive, we might want to see what historically, how they have allocated these funds and given these funds out. And then, I mean, rather than, just coming up with something that's a wish list, great, maybe we look and see, okay, what for our small community, what might be attractive to the grant body, the folks that are issuing the grants, that would give us maybe one leg up on our competition for this particular grant. So
That's an
just a thought.
Yes, that's an excellent point, Mayor. And I also included in that memo a running list. And I haven't involved all of staff yet, so we need to have a staff meeting where we hash these things out. But starting on page 40 at the very bottom, running through page 41 are a list of capital projects that I'm at least aware of. And there are a few in there that could qualify. I mean, I've heard Councilmember Payton, as well as the other council members, talk about Lake Susan and the pavilion. I mean, granted, that's very small compared to the access of funds. If you have a ceiling of 800,000, there may be something else that the city might want to pursue, like Jackaloff Dock improvements, if that was an eligible project. But I think we should have it sounds like a special meeting with the new council with the information of what projects have been funded in the past and what totals, and go from there.
Yeah, I would think if we're submitting for something that maybe is, something that we would like rather than we would need, or something that's not necessarily, needed for the sustainability of our village versus, or our town versus another community that's, they're applying for something that is vital to their town even surviving or something, I mean, if we're going to go through the effort, let's at least take that kind of approach to where we'd have at least some sort of fighting chance for whatever it is that, we're gonna go after. So, but no, I think we've got a good start, good list. And I think with some further discussion, we can probably come up with something, and for sure. Any other questions, comments from council? Bobby?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. Heidi, is this the same grant that we applied for a couple years ago when Cassidy was at the helm?
Through the mayor, correct.
Okay, the same, yeah, because I noticed a few of those things that we talked about then are on this list, obviously. So, okay, thanks.
Okay, George, you had a follow-up?
Yeah, along the lines you were talking about, I wonder if it'd be in our interest to find a grant writer. And maybe we could find one that would do a one-time deal for a percentage of the grant rather than be looking for a salary where, we might even be able to roll that into the grant with a little bit of creative writing. But that seems to be the way to get these things done, is get somebody that knows how to play the game.
Yep, thank you, George.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yep, go ahead, Vivian.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity, and I think it would be a great blueprint for the city of Seldovia and the council to get a CIP together for ourselves. And the exercise to go for the grant is a great way to organize ourselves. And I think actually when Bobby asked that question about when we applied for it before, I think the council at that time did ask about the same question you had, Mr. Mayor, and that was, what were the other candidates, who won it, who got it, and for what reasons? So I think that's really something to be conscientious of. If we're to put ourselves out there, let's put ourselves out so we have a good opportunity to get the grant. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Yep, did you have a follow-up, Bobby?
Yeah, yeah, George, I think that's a great idea. I totally agree with you on a grant that huge, but what happens if we don't get it? Well, okay.
Well, if we're talking about paying them a percentage of the grant, it seems like that, I don't know. I've never written.
I mean, it's a
I
good,
don't know.
it's a
don't know
great
who does,
idea, but I'm not sure somebody would want to put that much effort into it for nothing. But who knows?
Sure, Radzi, you got a comment?
That is actually a common practice in grant writing, for the grant writer to get a fee from the granting agency that's sort of part of the grant itself. And it is common for them to write the grant proposal with no compensation other than that. It is common.
Yeah. Thank you, Radzi. Okay, any additional comments or questions before we go to the public? Okay, Heidi, do we have anyone from the public that wishes to comment?
I'm not seeing any hands raised at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll go ahead and bring it back to council. So I guess just comment, yeah, I guess developing the CIP plan, that obviously, I don't know if that would happen in full before, I mean, is that your envision that needs to happen at some point throughout the year? Or are you thinking get that implemented and done before the grant deadline, or what's your thoughts on that, Rachel?
Great question, Mayor. I'm hoping by the FY23 budget.
Okay.
So, and because we also need time for public comment and
Sure.
process, so that if there are projects that the public would like to see, those could also be factored in. So hopefully February, March.
Okay.
We could
Yeah,
have,
and that would be, I mean, that's probably going to be a document with a, a fair amount of words and verbiage, and then it's going to have, reasons behind, or the thought process behind, the items that we're looking at, I would imagine. So, so that would be fairly transparent for
Yes.
anyone in the community could pick it up, or if it's on the city's website. Okay, I understand why why we've got these 10 things. These are the priorities and these are the reasons why.
right,
So,
and having the council go through and rank them. And I think it just, using the word transparency, it just shares with the public, hey, especially with the priority of maintenance, we're looking ahead. These are things the city should be thinking about. For example, the water treatment plant parts. The plant was constructed, I believe, in 2017. Some of those parts may have a shorter lifespan than others. So knowing that ahead of time, we can start saving or building up a reserve, and then know that in, let's say, 5 to 10 more years from now, we'll have adequate savings to go forward with that. So
sure.
Exactly what you said.
Okay, perfect.
Mr. Mayor,
Yep, go ahead, Jordan.
but we're gonna start working on this grant first, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, so then we'll have a couple new council members come in. We'll have some dialogue with them and then start formulating. We'll get some information back. If you guys can see if that information is in fact available from the previous recipients, and what their projects were. And then I guess over the next few meetings, we'll need to start talking about looking at what we've got on our list and what makes sense in regards to that. And then yeah, then obviously, and then the other thing is typically, are we going for the, we don't necessarily need to go for the full 850,000,
Right.
obviously, because there's only 3.1 million. So
Right.
I would think that the granting agency would want to try to get the most bang for their buck on projects that are worthwhile, and they can get 10 of them out for 100 grand versus one community for 850 or something. So
Right.
okay. Any other questions or comments on this discussion item tonight? Okay, so would you envision that this would be on our next agenda?
That or a special meeting.
Okay, either one?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, maybe after you get some additional information, you'll get back with the body then?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
You got it.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. All right, that'll bring us to item N, city manager's report, and you're up again.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. And it says see laydown, but I did not have a chance to write out the manager's report for the laydown. So I'm just going to give a quick verbal update, and then items that are more substantial will be included in the next manager's report. So let's see. At your next meeting, we're going to be talking with the new council about Jackaloff Dock. I was been working with Turnagain Marine. I used a relationship I had through the city of Homer with HDR Inc. Engineering, and they connected me to Turnagain Marine, which is a coastal marine engineering firm. And they sent an engineer to Soldovia. They took photos, they took measurements, they drafted an extensive memo or brief, and have even offered to come attend via Zoom, all at no cost to the city of Soldovia, which I find remarkable that they did all of that work. And so we're going to have that report ready for the council. And so it'll be a good meeting on the 25th to assess how council would like to move forward with that. And our harbor master will be attending a conference, so she won't be able to attend that meeting. But if she has any additional notes on the materials, I'll make sure to have them with me at the meeting, because also we need to talk about Jackaloff Dock and a bracket that has been absent off of one of the pilings. And so irregardless of how we want to move forward with the maintenance of Jackaloff Dock, with the increasing winter storms, there'll be a resolution to put the bracket on one of the pilings that's currently missing. So just giving council the heads up that that's on its way. We had 2 proclamations on tonight's agenda honoring former and I guess, one current medical director. I just wanted to make sure council knew that we have Dr. David Chambers, who's coming on board as our next volunteer medical director. And so if we didn't have volunteer medical directors, our volunteer fire and EMS departments wouldn't be able to offer as much service as they do. So it's really great that we were able to honor them and also welcome Dr. David Chambers. The Alaska Municipal League has its annual local government conference in November. That's coming up November 15th through the 19th. Our city clerk, who is a recipient of a scholarship, as well as myself, who's applied for scholarships, will be in attendance at that training. And there's also, as a component of that, a newly elected officials training. This year, because of COVID, they're doing it online at no cost to the cities. And so I believe the city clerk put a reference to that opportunity in your laydown packet if you go to starting on page 11. And so for newly elected officials or anyone who hasn't received that training in the past, that could be a great opportunity to meet with other statewide elected officials. And then also the city clerk has been diligently working to get a more local newly elected officials training to take place here in Soldovia. And I believe that'll be a first local training that we've been able to offer to council. Is that right, city clerk?
I'm not sure about previous city clerks and administrations, but in my time, this would be the first local.
Okay,
training.
so in the last 5 years at least, which is a great improvement to be able to offer that to council. So be on the lookout for that. As a board member of KPED, I, as a board of director member, agreed to the passage of a resolution that they sponsored. It's resolution 2021-02, signing off on a revolving loan fund program that they've funded through the EDA. I don't have too many details on that, but KPED has had a revolving loan fund program for quite some time as part of their organization and their mission. So as more information comes out about that, I'll share that with the council. Our dais did not make it over. So the council's new table gifted from the city of Homer did not make it over before the ferry service got interrupted. And so hopefully it'll be on the next ferry this October 14th, which I want to say is Thursday. And then save the best for last. When it came to CIRSA and renegotiating the contract with CIRSA to ensure that the city was receiving full funding for the employees that are hired through that relationship, I was initially informed that we were only charging for employee wages and not all the other payroll liabilities. And so we spent many weeks working through back and forth what that would look like. And so as a result, the CIRSA agreed to pay for the payroll liabilities associated with employees' positions, including Social Security, Medicare, unemployment, and then there's workers' compensation. But then upon us revisiting the invoicing, we had actually been billing them for payroll liabilities all along. The invoice document itself, though, only said employee wages. So I think that's how there was confusion. And so we've told that to the CIRSA, and we're going to reimburse them the $5,000 they contributed towards the city to help make up for those payroll liabilities. And ultimately, the outcome of that was, instead of receiving 6% in admin wage, 6% admin wage contribution to the city, we're now receiving 3%, plus they're covering their insurance costs. And so I have a memo, more in-depth memo that was going to go into the manager's report about that, but it was something that I found out recently, and now I'm sharing with the council. And that is what I have for the manager's report this evening.
Thank you, Rachel. Any questions or comments for the city manager regarding her report?
Mr. Mayor?
Yep, go ahead, Harmony.
Yeah, I would just like to thank Rachel for the in-depth report. And I was wondering where we're at with the value added building.
That's an excellent question, Councilmember Peyton. It's been on my list to get together a request for proposals that council would adopt through a resolution to go out for a property management real estate firm with experience in commercial properties, because council expressed interest in trying to get an occupant for the building prior to it being completed. And so that would possibly look like a public-private partnership with the city of Soldovia, where I'm not sure what the terms would be, but I just haven't had a chance to get to that document for council's consideration.
Excellent. Well, I'm excited to see more investment in that property. Anyways, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Harmony. Any other questions, comments for the manager? Okay, thank you, Rachel. Appreciate your report and all the information tonight. Item O, informational items not requiring action. O1, staff will be working with Soldovia City Council to determine a date for an in-person on newly elected officials training in October. So more to come on that here relatively soon. And item O2, the Soldovia City office will be closed Monday, October 18th in observance of Alaska Day. So that'll be next Monday. Item P, executive session, none tonight. Item Q, council and mayor comments concerning items not on the agenda. And we'll start off with Rojas. You're on mute.
There we go. Big thank you to the staff and Rachel, excellent report. Thank you very much. And also a big thank you to the community who voted yes for our Proposition 1. And I'm hoping that those who voted no and those who voted yes will help us with our budget in the future and be a part of the solution. But I'm really excited that we've got the vote. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vivian. Peyton.
Yeah. Thank you, Pearlie and John, for your years of service on the city council. It's been excellent being able to hear your point of view and just hearing the dialogue that you guys have brought to the table. I hope that you'll remember all the times in these meetings you said that the community needs to participate in them and continue to lend your voice to the conversation. I'd like to thank the community for everybody who came out and voted. What an excellent turnout we had this year. And the volunteers who stayed all day and collected those votes. Thank you to the staff for all of your excellent hard work and information. And that's all I got. Oh, I guess thank you, Soldovia, for voting me back into council.
Thank you, Harmony. Let's see, Nathan.
The rumor mill says that the folks are actually working on the new cell tower. I think there's a whole bunch of people here. They brought a bunch of equipment over on the Halenka B, and I haven't been down to look and see, but apparently the rumor also says they think to be done by the end of December. So that's all pretty good news. Appreciate all the work that went into this election. If my primitive math is correct, I believe we got about 53%, a little better than 53% of the vote for the proposition, which is a pleasant surprise. And John, anytime you want to come to one of these meetings, I bet you we can find one of those big overstuffed chairs for you. I'll miss looking over and seeing you frowning at what I'm saying. So you need to show up every once in a while, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, George. Sweat.
Yeah, like I said before, I wanted to thank everybody for that got out and voted in support of that proposition. Thanks to all you guys for all your hard work. And I want to thank John and Pearlie for your years of being on the council. So thank you. And we'll see you.
Thank you, Bobby. Colberg.
It's been fun. Thank you, staff, for all your hard work in fixing Seldovia. It's been fun, frustrating, every emotion in the book. I'm gonna still come to meetings when I can. I'm glad that Jennifer and John won their seats. It's nice to see that people got out and ran for the job. It's a wonderful non-paying job that all you get is grief most of the time, but it's fun. And thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, John. Pearlie.
Yeah, it's a great meeting and good to see the vote come out that way. I'm not real excited about the Proposition 1 vote, but that's what it is. It's been interesting, as well as educational, being on the council, and I'm hoping to pop into a few meetings and put my word in, so thanks.
Thank you, Pearlie. Yep, and I'll go ahead and just offer a couple comments as well. And I wanted to personally thank Pearlie and John for their years of service as well. Yeah, it's not easy. This is not, sometimes it's not a real fun job, but it's truly good work. It's the people's work, and it's the duty of all citizens to participate in their local community government at some point during their tenure in the city. So hopefully next election, we will have another good turnout as well. And thanks to everyone who ran in the election as well. That was it was good to see. And the numbers were good. The numbers were good all across the board. So I think it was a good outcome on the election. I'd like to welcome Jennifer, John, and then Harmony. Welcome back. You didn't go anywhere. So you've got a couple more years to ahead of you as well to continue your work. So thanks to the staff again. Appreciate another good, successful meeting, and nice. This one's a little shorter than the 3 and 4 hour marathons that we've been having. So this is good. And I did get some feedback from a few folks in the community as well on those long meetings. And I know it's inevitable sometimes that we're going to have those type of meetings. But yeah, we'll try to do a better job of keeping the agenda pared down a little bit to something, manageable for everyone as well. So, but I know we do also have a lot of work that needs to get done. We've done a lot of work, and there's a lot more to go. So, but that's all I have tonight. So I appreciate everyone. And let's see, next regular meeting will be held October 25th at 6 p.m. And we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second.
that.
All right. Any objections? Okay, hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Good night,
John.
everyone.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome. It's been fun.
Thanks, Pearlie. Bye-bye.